Well, welcome to a very impromptu session of recording here on Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. We didn't think we'd be starting our week like this, but we had to jump on here. I'm Ryan Drury alongside Clarkey, and of course, we've got some huge golf news to discuss after one of the most incredible things we've ever seen in the sport. And on that note, of course, if there's big golf news, you know who we want to talk to. It's our golf expert and our good buddy, Ian Doig of the Ian Doig Golf Academy, longtime pro golfer. And Doigy, we just witnessed something that everybody, I think, in the golf world has wanted to see for the last 11 years. Rory McIlroy, a Masters champion, and bigger than that, he's a Grand Slam champion, and he's the sixth guy to ever do it. It's Sarazen, Hogan, Player, Nicholas Woods, and now Rory. How are you feeling, buddy? Because I know you love Rory almost more than anybody that I know, myself included.
I do.
How are you feeling, man?
I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm more tired right now than I am when I play my own rounds of golf because I lived and died with every shot today. And trust me, there was some bad ones hit by Rory, and it was driving me crazy. My heart was up and down, and my gut was up and down, and my stomach was in my throat half the day, and my heart was just beating away and everything. And I wasn't sure if the defibrillator or not was going to keep up with all the stress that it was under. But at the end, he got it done, and he's, as they've been talking about, he's on golf's Mount Rushmore. He's one of the best six ever, and it was incredible. It was a crazy day out there, absolutely crazy.
It was absolutely bonkers. I mean, the week was crazy. Justin Rose, who I want to get him out of the way right away. I mean, what a classy guy, a guy that battled and chipped away and just stayed in contention. What a round he had, the low round of the day on Sunday to keep himself in contention. He was an absolute machine on Sunday, coming up just inches short to try and force a second playoff hole. So classy to Rory. He knew what that meant to him and really the sport, and said as much when he was talking to Amanda Ballianis afterwards. I mean, Justin Rose, one of the classiest guys and most well-liked guys on the course, so kudos to him. But the whole week was crazy. Rory had an awful Thursday. Well, not awful, but not good. And the prospects, I think everybody was kind of thinking, oh, geez. He comes back with just an all-time monster round on Friday. He has a great round Saturday, and you're thinking, oh, my God, like Rory is right in there. And then he comes out on Sunday and has a nightmare start. Bryson takes the lead off him by a stroke, but then Rory just recomposed for a little bit on that front nine, and Bryson started falling apart. I mean, what did you make after we got through those first 9 holes, 7 and 8 in particular, and then 9 when he birdied it to go to 13 under? Like, where's your head at then? Because I'll tell you where I was. I was feeling pretty good.
So was I. And a couple things come to mind. First of all, he got to 13 under. At that point in time, he had a 4-shot lead. 2 guys I was concerned about were Rosie and Ludwig Ahlberg, because I knew that they could put a push on near the end. I wasn't really concerned with Bryson DeChambeau for a couple of reasons. He didn't have his best stuff all week. He had kind of done it with smoke and mirrors, got it up and down a lot the first 3 days. And here's a crazy stat, and I haven't actually looked at the final numbers on it, but going into today, so they've been tracking all the shots on the driving range for the week, and going into today, he was at 1,100 and change practice shots for the week. That's like playing 20 extra rounds of golf during the week. Like, I just thought, and I said this to somebody last night when we were talking, I said, he'll be exhausted tomorrow. You can't keep that up. I don't care how strong, how big you are, how much you work out and everything. That takes its toll. And I think it took its toll on him today, both mentally and physically, because his golf swing broke down. I mean, he hit it in the water a couple times today and stuff. And so, but when Rory walked to the 10th tee, my thought process was, okay, just play good, patient golf, hit it in the middles of the greens, take your 2 putts and move on and get this out without any stress. And then he birdied number 10. And I thought, okay, here we go. And from that point on, it was an absolute roller coaster of a round. I didn't know what was coming next.
It was absolutely wild stuff. And we'll get to what happened next, because Eamon Corner was the height of the roller coaster ride, man. Eamon Corner sent us into really the golf world into a frenzy. Clarkey, I know you were catching bits and pieces and saw the end. Like, what were your thoughts on the roller coaster ride we all went on, and how it finally came to pass that Rory is finally he's immortal. He's an immortal golfer.
Yeah, no question. And his emotion showed, especially getting the green jacket when he was talking about his parents in Butler cabin afterwards. But no, it was. I hate to say this, but I kind of like when guys struggle, because I can relate. Right, when guys hit it in the woods, like I've had a lot of those shots. Right, like I can relate to that. I don't usually get the same kind of outcome as these guys do when they get into the woods. Like, it is amazing, that one shot he had where he actually hit a pine tree, and he laughed. He's like,
the branch. Yeah.
How can I have done that?
That was number 7.
And then you talk about Oberg, the guy you love, boy, oh boy, he had a rough 18. Like, that 18th hole, he was back and forth like a soldier, left, right,
hacking it around, man.
So again, I've been there, and I've seen that before. But that then had the delay, and Rory must have been on that 18th tee the first time around for 10 minutes waiting. But you know what? Like, Justin Rose, to me. And again, I wasn't locked in all afternoon. I do have a life, and I had other things to do. But all of a sudden, there's Justin Rose. I'm like, what? And good on him, because I've always been a fan of Justin Rose, and I love to see that all of a sudden he was there. The three of us had an unbelievably close pool this week as well. Doig won. I think I came in second, but boy, it was close the whole weekend. So it was fun to watch for sure. And the Leafs won, so that made it even better.
Even better. But you know what, Clarkey, you're right. Justin Rose is one of the classiest guys around. I mean, I have loved him for years and years and years. He's the epitome of a professional. Goes about his business. He's very kind and generous. And you know, if it was anybody other than Rory, I would have been pulling for Justin Rose today.
Sure. Absolutely.
Right? 100%.
Look at even hard on my heart, because that's a guy that I would have said I'd love to see him win the Masters. But the only problem was he was going up against Rory, and I think Rory winning, this is huge for golf. I mean, golf's kind of been fluctuating back and forth a little bit over the last couple of years, and for Rory to pull this off this year with everything that's gone on, him losing the U.S. Open to Bryson last year and everything else, I just think that this is going to be really good for golf going forward. I love it. I just absolutely love it. And it doesn't hurt that I have Rory in my pool. That's just going to shoot me up near the top of the leaderboard in my big pool that I'm in. And that helps. Little surprised that Ludwig Oberg finished the way he did, but I think when he three-putted 17 for bogey, he pretty much realized he was out of it, and he probably lost a little bit of concentration. Like the shot that he hit out of the bunker on 18 where it hit the lip, I don't think that happens if he knows, hey, if I make birdie, I can still win this thing. But at that point in time, he was done. He had to hold the shot, and maybe he went for it with the club that he had to, get cut really close to the top of the bunker. But I've watched Rory, and you guys have heard me say this on the show numerous occasions, because I really do. I love the way he plays golf. He is, in my opinion, probably the best ball striker, the best player in the game today. He's got every shot. And that, to me, sometimes is part of his problem, because he's so good at every shot that sometimes he tries to pull off shots that he really doesn't need to. But I keep going back to the same thing over and over and over again, and I've said this for years, is he is so tense at setup sometimes. His arms get very rigid. And I look back to today's round. The 2 shots that really stick out there's actually 4 shots. The shot on 13 where he hit it in the water from 86 yards, he looked awful over that shot. Wedge in your hand from 86 yards. And then on the 72nd hole, he's got 125 yards from the middle of the fairway on 18. So he's got gap wedge in. And it's not even a big gap wedge for him. But I look at him from behind, and he's got really tense arms, and he blows it way right.
You think he was trying to draw that in, just didn't get the draw?
Yeah, but that's the tense, because when he gets tense like that, his hands move outside of his chin line. And so then the golf swing, his hands are too far away from his body. If you go back and look at the replay of that shot and the replay of the shot in the playoff, exact same yardage, 125 yards, and he hit it to 2.5 feet. Mm-hmm. And if you look at his arms are hanging softer and under his chin line better, and he hit a perfect golf shot.
And you think there would have been more pressure, though, Doigie, on that playoff hole, but maybe he just said, or maybe his caddy spotted it, maybe something, I don't know. But
no, it basically, when it comes down to the playoffs, playoffs are easier because you know you're either going to win or you're going to finish second, one or the other. You can't finish worse than second. And I actually think playoffs take pressure off. And you go ahead and can free will it a little bit better. And you think about the tee shot he hit and the wedge shot he hit were absolutely both perfect, and he hit a good putt. So I was ecstatic for him. I'm just over the moon for the guy. Yeah. Very happy.
I want to ask Ryan, Ryan, I don't know if you've ever had a bigger week in sports, to be honest with you. You watched Ovi break the record.
Yeah.
You watched Rory become immortal, and you watched Clarkey be the first star the charity hockey game.
Yeah, that's a
hat trick of all hat tricks.
It's a true trifecta of incredible sporting moments for me. Yeah. I mean, I will say, the biggest, watching the Caps win the Cup obviously was
sure.
Nothing will ever trump that. But I mean, in terms of consecutive events, pretty unbelievable, because I've been lucky, and I don't know why I have the pessimistic attitude.
Your texts were unbelievable.
Dude,
lay off the guy. Lay off. Let him finish the round. Hey,
but
Doigie,
we can't.
And Doigie and I are delayed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, would you just wait?
I know.
Well, not only was I delayed to begin with, I'm on a Fire Stick, so my TV's on internet.
Right.
And it started buffering. And at the end, I was about 7 minutes behind, and it was buffering as well. And I kept thinking to myself, okay, this thing's going to buffer, and then it's going to jump forward to the finish, and I'm going to miss it all.
That's terrible, right? Dude. I'm sorry.
Each time it came out of the buffer, it was okay. But Brian kept texting me.
I know, yeah. We had a group text going on.
What a shot, or what a terrible shot. And I'm like, well, hold on, I haven't seen it yet.
Exactly.
So, I apologize. I was a little too over the moon. And it's because, you're waiting for something to go wrong, and it did. 13 is the standout moment, and it's the moment we would have all looked back on and been like, oh my God, It's Rory doing this again. That's an inexcusable wedge shot that he plants in the water. It
happens, though, man. It happens. It just happens.
I know, but it's just that it's happened to him in this pursuit of greatness so many times.
Think about this. You think about the shot he hit on 18 from the middle of the fairway into the bunker. You think about the shot on 13 from 86 yards. He hit it into the water, right?
You think about 1 and 2.
And if I start to think more how many other times from the middle of the fairway he hit poor golf shots over the course of the week, right? But today, on number 5, he's in the jungle, and he hits an unbelievable 9-iron from 182 yards to the back left corner of the green and makes 4. Number 7, he's in the left trees, and he hits an unbelievable 9-iron up out of the trees and on the green. And then after he's lost the lead, and he's out of the lead and looking like he's just going to fold like a cheap chair, because he's made double on 13 and bogey on 14. He has to hit this big sweeping hook with a 7-iron from 204 yards on number 15, and he hits it to 5 feet. I'm like, what is wrong with this guy?
I know, and that lends back to what you said and what we've said on here 100 times. He can make any shot you want, and that's, I think, what's going to be the most impressive thing looking back on today, beyond obviously the meaning that it has for him as a player, the meaning that it has for the sport, and really the PGA Tour, which we can dig into more, obviously, how massively important this was. You know, when we look back, yeah, he hit some bad shots today. He also hit some shots that are going to live in Masters lore because he won it and the fashion in which he won it, where he didn't make it easy and guys didn't make it easy on him, that are going to stick out in people's minds. And I think 15 for me for that eagle might be the one where that shot that he hit was absolutely disgusting. Curling that around the trees.
He made the eagle yesterday. He missed the putt.
Yeah, yes, that's true. Right. He missed the putt. That's what's crazy. He hits that unbelievable shot, and you're like, here comes another eagle. And he made a number of eagles on the course this week on those par fives, and he plants that within 6 feet, and you're like, here comes another one. Manages to get a stroke anyway, and you know that approach on 17 as well on the elevated hill.
So it's funny you go to that one, Ryan, because there's a couple shots from today, but all week long. And look, we've already talked about the mishits and the bad shots and that, but there was a couple breaks that he got today. One of the biggest breaks of the day is actually on number 11 when he had to hit the low hook under the tree and it hit the mountains and kick left. I mean, that thing rolls 6 more inches. It's in the water.
It's in the water.
Right. And when somebody wins, those are the little things that start to kind of add up at the end of the week. I mean, that goes in the water. He makes double instead of making a bogey, or maybe makes triple. So that helped. And then unbelievably to me, the shot on 17 with the 8-iron from 182 yards, I think it was, on an upslope, and the ball hit and landed hard. It landed and kicked forward to get it up to the 3 or 4 feet. I fully expected, you could hear him saying, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And I fully expected it because he hit it so high and so hard with so much spin on it. I fully expected it to hit on the green, take one bounce and stop 20 feet short of the hole. And it hit firm and released up to the hole. And those are the things that happen when you win golf tournaments.
That reminded me of Sergio. That one, was it the same hole? Like, was it the same?
Yes, it was.
Because he was running up and jumping and looking, and he knew he hit it well, and that was a long time ago. Yeah, but that's what it reminded me of as soon as I saw it.
Yeah.
So what was that? 2017 that Sergio had that land?
Yeah. No.
But what a day! What a day! And some of the golf shots. But even think about Patrick Reed. He came out of nowhere on the weekend to finish top 5.
He did foot wedge Reed. He was good. Yeah. And you know what? I was gonna honestly. There's always guys who say, "Oh, I was gonna pick him." I had him marked as my 4th guy, and I was gonna pick him. And I go, I can't do it.
I know.
I just thought he was going to have a good tournament.
Because he's on the other side of the spectrum, right? Where he is certainly not a popular guy. Rose. No, definitely not. And that's, that goes a long way, right? But I'm thrilled with what happened. And honestly, let's talk about what this means for the tour, obviously, because we've been talking ad nauseum for the last 3 years with all the live stuff and how Rory has been, the knight in shining armor for the tour, the guy that, I can guarantee that live representatives contacted him, and I wouldn't be shocked if someday we heard that they offered him close to $1 billion to leave the PGA Tour. I bet it was probably somewhere in that ballpark, and he didn't. Yeah, exactly, because he is the figurehead, the face of golf, and I guarantee they reached. Yeah, exactly. They for sure put something in front of him, and he said no. I'm on the PGA Tour. This is the best tour in the world. I'm Rory McIlroy. I have plenty of money. I care about the competition. I care about the integrity of the game. And he came out and was so staunchly defendant of the tour and was very angry, and rightfully so, when he heard all these rumors about how PGA and Liv are, still trying to negotiate how to, bring the game back together, if you will. And for him to finally do this in this fashion is just I swear to God, I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this, Doigie. Jay Monahan should commission somebody to build a statue of Rory in his front lawn. I'm dead serious. I'm not kidding.
Funny. That's funny. It's funny. I mean, obviously, we know that I'm a big Rory fan, and just talking about the live thing and everything, and Rory was very staunchly against it and talked about it and everything, and he was very much on the PJ Tour's side of the aisle of all of it. He has since backtracked quite a bit and that. But one of the things is, and they mentioned it on the telecast today, that there's a guy, investment banker by the name of Jimmy Dunn, who has tried to negotiate a settlement between Liv and the PGA Tour, and he's one of Rory's best friends. And I find it interesting that they haven't got that done now. But Jimmy Dunn's actually walked away from the table and isn't going to negotiate anymore. So clearly, there's a divide somewhere. And they're really going to struggle to kind of bring things together, which is hurting the game, right? You think about how exciting this was, and you had how many live players were playing in it. Like there's 12 or 14 of them for sure. And you think about Bryson was in the hunt, Patrick Reed was in the hunt, Joaquin Neiman played pretty good up to a point. And so you start to look at these guys that are, because the argument has always been, well, they only play 54 holes and they've gone soft because they don't have to work at their game anymore. I always hated that statement, that they don't have to work at their game, because, and I use myself as an example. I'm almost 64 years old, and I went out and hit balls for 3 hours this morning. We, as athletes, whether it's hockey or golf or football or baseball or whatever the hell it is, we as athletes have it right in here. It's in our heart and our gut. And we always are striving to get better. Now, sure, you're going to have the odd guy that's kind of soft and doesn't really care, but the rest of us do. And we're going to work hard at it regardless of where we're playing. And that, to me, was witnessed this week with the amount of live guys that played well.
Yeah.
And I think that's, in the long run, that's going to be good for golf too. So,
yeah, I completely agree. Obviously, the moment, it's something that everybody's been waiting for a long, long time. Doig, you've been around the game your whole life. I mean, where does this rank? I mean, because you've had a lot of personal success on the golf course, particularly over the last 12 months, which we've been really excited to see for you.
Well, at a much lesser level.
Well, but it doesn't matter. It's still important. The game means an awful lot to you. And I know that Rory and everything that he represents means a lot to you. And like Clarkey kind of jokingly said, but it really rings true. Like, it's been a thrill for me. Like, I didn't really get into the game until a number of years ago, and like began to understand how important Rory is, what Rory represents. Like, you're always aware of it, but from a distance. Now I've become so much more invested in him, even more so since, we've become friends. But for you, who's been around the game for so long and been able to enjoy so many great moments yourself, and been able to, watch many great moments that have inspired your career, where's this one rank, man? Because like, you've seen some very, very great, the all-time greats play this game. This one here, though, like I sent you guys the fall. Like, I was bawling. I was so happy for Rory. I'm holding tears back now. It's so great that this happened. Where's this rank for you?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a little bit of time, but as of right now, I would say it's very high up there. I won't lie to anybody. I had tears in my eyes. I was so happy for him. Because he's worked so hard to get this done, and he's only the 6th player in the history of the game to do it. And the last one to do it was Tiger 25 years ago or whatever it was, right?
Yep, 25.
So you start to look at things like that, and you're like, man, oh man. So when I look at things that have happened over the years in the world of golf and that, so a couple that come to mind, I think back, and they showed highlights of it today, because the pin on 16 today was an homage to when Jack made the putt there in 1975. Willie Peterson was his caddy at the time. I knew Willie Peterson, I met him later on in the 80s, but got to know Willie a little bit. My interactions with Mr. Nicholas. So those stand out in my mind of everything that Jack did in 75. I remember the outfit he had on, all of that stuff. And then in 86, when he won in 86, was spectacular. You start to think about Tiger chipping it in when he beat Chris DeMarco. He chipped it in on 16. I mean, I look back and I think, the amount of great players that I've been fortunate enough to kind of grow up in the same decades as them. I started watching golf at the end of Hogan's career, but I knew who he was. But I got to watch Nicklaus and Tom Watson and Lee Trevino and Raymond Floyd and Tiger and now Rory and I competed against some of them. So to be able to look back on all of that it's enormously, I guess, gratifying would be a word to use to say that I've been able to kind of be in that circle a little bit, not at the level that they're playing at, although I did play some events on the PGA Tour and stuff like that, but to just be able to be around that, and to go to those events and to see those guys and say hi to them and stuff has been incredible. To walk up and have Arnold Palmer come over and shake your hand and say hi. Holy crap, man. Right? Like, I didn't think Arnold Palmer had any idea who Ian Doig was, but, he walked up to me and said, "Hey, Ian, how you doing?" Like, that was crazy. That blew my mind away. And Nicklaus did the same thing. So, yeah, crazy stuff.
Absolutely, man. Very poignant, very well said, and we're all going to be celebrating this win for Rory for a long time, I think, man. It's incredible stuff, Doigie. Thanks so much for doing this as always, buddy. It's a great day.
My pleasure, and what a great day. And to top it off, I didn't get to see any of the game, but I think our Leafs won again.
They did.
Doigie,
They did.
They did.
Looks like they're going to be division champs, which is a big deal too. So
yeah, but I guess we need to call Gary Bettman up and ask him why he was scheduling a 5:00 hockey game on the Sunday afternoon of the Masters.
Unbelievable! It really is unbelievable. Like it's not that they didn't know.
No.
Yeah. And I bet the players were furious. I bet the players were furious.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah,
for sure.
We can't get into that because if we start digging into this, it's going to be a 3-hour show.
Let's go. We had a good show. Let's not extend it here.
How many people were tuning out of the golf to watch the hockey game?
I had the hockey on my phone.
None.
Zero.
None.
Zero. There was
Absolutely
no chance
none.
I was leaving my couch.
No way. Yeah. An all-time couch surfing day for sure, but not for Rory. Incredible stuff. He's an immortal, and the Irish eyes are smiling, man. It's great stuff.
The Irish eyes are smiling.
Yes, they are.
And by the way,
Doigie and I are going to Ireland.
Yes. Clarkey, I didn't realize that you were first star. Congratulations. I did see some of the highlights.
Didn't realize it?
I saw some of the highlights. I watched some of it. I watched him make 5 saves in about a little short period of time.
First star.
And the color commentator was doing a great job. And so, it was interesting to watch.
Color commentator not only did a good job, he was color commentating and working the camera.
Cameras.
Time,
yeah. The play-by-play guy was terrible. The play-by-play guy was really bad, but
it was really good. It was unbelievable.
Stuff.
It was unbelievable.
And you might have inspired Rory. I think I might have. Rory.
Yeah, and I
absolutely
inspired these guys.
Old dogs can learn new tricks. How about that? Even Rory. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we gotta welcome on some friends from a local team around here who are gonna take a heavy crack at the Allan Cup Senior Championship, the Minto 81s. We're going to be talking with members of that team next here on Instigating. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. And as I mentioned at the end of our last segment, I know everybody's excited about Rory, but we're excited here in the local hockey scene because not only are we continuing to follow the journey of the Hanover Barons, there's also some very exciting senior hockey news in the area. And like I said at the end of the last segment, the Minto 81s are going to be representing our region at the Allan Cup National Senior Championship. Incredible stuff, and I'm pleased to be joined by two members of that squad, Stephen Gibson and, of course, our old buddy Caleb Warren of Listowel Cyclones fame. Warzy, Gibby, how are you boys?
We're doing excellent, Jers. It's good to be on the show. I've followed along for the last couple of years. Touched up on Caleb's last appearance on here too, so it's good to be making my first appearance on here as well.
It's great to have you on here, Warzy. Like he said, we've had you on here before, and I know last year we talked to you a little bit about the 81s capturing the championship. This year, obviously, with the new OEHL format. I mean, not that the format really changed much, but just under a new league banner, really exciting stuff. Tell me a little bit, because you have a unique perspective on this. I mean, the 81s going back to back and now heading off to the Allan Cup. What's the feeling like for a guy who's been through a lot of ups and downs and a lot of success, mostly ups in your career, Warzy, to be fair? How are you feeling about going back to back?
Yeah, now that you say that, it's kind of reminiscent of my time in Listowel, because I remember that first year when we won the first Cherry Cup. It kind of was like a whirlwind, everything just happened, and it was exciting. You had a great team, but then the second year coming back, it was kind of like, our eyes were always set on that Allan Cup. So achieving what we did already is so awesome, and we put together such a good group, but it's so much more special when you have this Allan Cup to look forward to, similar to the Sutherland Cup back in the day.
Gibby, I'm curious, your experience, because I know both you guys played junior hockey. You had a lot of experience at the Ontario Hockey League level, obviously with the then Mississauga Steelheads, of course, now in Brampton. When you came over and started playing in this league, obviously a bit of a different vibe than a junior locker room. But in your experience so far and being on this championship run with the Minto 81s, what's it been like for you to kind of ingratiate yourself in the locker room, be around a lot of friends, and have this winning mentality heading into a very big tournament?
Yeah, I think you touched on a lot of the things. One, joining a team that won last year was awesome, but just the guys in the room are amazing. And I don't want to pump this guy's tires too much, but I don't think it's a coincidence that wherever Caleb goes, he wins. And I think the locker room was super easy for myself and some of the other newer guys to join. And I would say, in terms of one of the cooler experiences of just getting to experience that small town hockey experience, played in the Ontario League for a while, and it was cool, obviously playing in some of those iconic rinks, but I would put up some of those playoff games in Ripley and Seaforth, and obviously our home games as well, especially later on in the playoffs up there, in terms of just some of the most unique atmospheres I've ever played in. So this is right up there with the most memorable hockey season I'd say I've ever played in.
And on that note, you guys, a lot of it comes down to, any team that's going to be successful, the room's got to be tight. And you guys have teammates that are coming from many different levels of hockey, everybody playing at different junior programs, university hockey, and of course, you guys hooking up at Queens. Warzy, I know that you had a great experience in junior hockey. I got to be lucky enough to cover the very best of that, and then of course I know that you had a great OUA experience as well. Those experiences that that league is so competitive, it still, in my opinion, gets vastly overlooked when people talk about competitive hockey in this country, in this province. How did those experiences shape the continuation of the career that you've carved out for yourself in terms of always having that winning mentality and never backing down?
Yeah, it's funny. I always touch on this when people talk to me about the successes at this level, because it's like, for one, I think seniors making a big comeback, and you're kind of seeing it with our league going to the Allan Cup, and other leagues want to be part of the Allan Cup. And it kind of took a break after COVID. I know Gibby's like a historian on this topic. You should get him to touch on it. But it's funny. You find yourself at a totally different place in life at 28 years old. And there's a lot of guys that are older than me, have kids, have families and all that stuff. But we all have that like competitive edge in us. and you don't really realize it until you're back on the ice in front of a hometown crowd playing in front of everyone, how much you miss it and how much life that brings back to your life. And I'm just grateful for, like the people that I've met along the way, the teams that I've been a part of, because I've been able to do it with my close friends, that just transpires into success on the ice, because realistically it's a hobby, but a hobby that you're able to be competitive at. And that's what athletes love to do. Right. And I don't know, I think Minto's given me a lot more than I could have ever expected. And then when I get to mix it in with the group that I met at Queens and the kids I grew up with, like, that's super special. It's awesome to see. And I don't know, I think the mindset, it's totally different than what we were used to in our junior days practicing and stuff, which was actually funny this past weekend. I told you this, we had Brooksy running practices for us.
God bless you.
It was probably our first bag skate in maybe over a decade, but it was good for us. When everyone's played such a high level, things click a lot easier. And when you're just a genuine good group of people, it creates a great hockey team, great atmosphere. And you really saw that in Minto this year. I saw a lot more energy in the town and around the program and stuff. And you can just see that 1 year of success, how much that can change a whole league and a whole organization and stuff like that. And we're just happy to be a part of it, and to bring guys like Gibby and Mace and these guys who didn't even know where Minto was on a map before this year. Well, Gibby did, but Gibby, it's funny. They always say the Toronto guys coming down from Toronto, but Gibby and Hurls, they live 30 minutes away from Minto. They're actually not even that far. So, but it's awesome.
Going back to my roots playing a little bit for this team, I'd say. So,
yeah, you might be the longest tenured Minto 81 technically, because you played 5 years ago.
5 years ago, yeah.
There you go. Well, that's good. You're bringing it back to your roots, as it were. And Gibby, obviously I know that you're a really passionate guy about the senior level. And, I reflect back. I like what you said, Warzy, about, senior hockey making a comeback. And it certainly feels that way. You could kind of feel that when the league came out and did the big rebrand with the OEHL in terms of the local scene. And I know that the crowds were incredible throughout the league this year. But for the, that rings true for me too. The first time I really recall falling in love with hockey was when I was a little kid, and my parents were the treasurers of the Arthur Tigers, and I used to go and watch the Arthur Tigers, and they would always end up playing Dundas in the playoffs, and there would be huge brawls, and the Arthur Arena was shaking, the old ACC. That was the best, and I'm glad that it's like that now. And Gibby, for you, watching the success that the league is having, and now with you guys being the champions and heading to the Allan Cup, being the torchbearers for the local senior scene, that's got to mean an awful lot to you.
For sure, yeah. And it's funny that I'm getting this title as being this big historian. It's not like it's been that long though. I didn't truthfully know what senior hockey was until 2 years ago. I played a handful of games with Minto, but it wasn't the same commitment level and all of that. But I would say this year has been just so much to me, because it's such a big part of your life playing hockey. And along with all the stuff that people always talk about of the dressing room and the teammates and the love for the guys and all of that, I think one of the biggest things I missed was the competitive edge, the competitive juices. And I never thought I'd feel the way I did as I did before some of those finals games and stuff. And also how I'm feeling now, we're I guess less than a week out from kicking off in the Allan Cup. So I would say for anybody who feels like they're missing out on that after playing at certain level and working maybe a more regular job, and obviously that's, everybody's got to make that transition at some point, but this is just a perfect kind of medium for that. We're still able to progress in your career outside of hockey, but nothing feels different leading up to this Allan Cup. It feels as big as playing in an OHL championship series or playing in the Queen's Cup that we did and won in our first year. It's the same feelings, and maybe even a little more, because I never thought I'd be in this position ever again feeling this way. So I couldn't be more grateful for what Caleb and his family provided us to allow us. So we bunked in their place probably for every weekend, I think, for the last 4 months, especially during the playoffs. It was super busy. So it wouldn't be possible without him and basically everybody in the organization. But it's been such an awesome experience.
Well, that would have been nice for you because I'm sure that you got a hefty helping of Caleb's mom's baking, which is pretty off the charts.
The buns are amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty
buns. Yeah.
They're pretty over the top, man. If your mom, who's a very successful medical professional, ever wanted to open a side business, Warzy, she could open a bakery out of the basement, no problem.
I keep telling her to do that.
I love it. Yeah, let's get a small business loan happening. Come on, I would love it. She could sell them at the games. Honestly, she'd make a small fortune. Seriously. I think. Also, I love also what you said about senior hockey, kind of like on the comeback, on the rebound in a lot of people's minds, Caleb, because I think, and I'd be interested to get your guys' perspective on it, being big hockey guys. And that, that's the thing about senior, like it really does boil down to guys really loving the game because there's a want and a desire and a need, like you said, Gibby, to keep those competitive juices flowing and do it in a really unique and cool environment that is really community based, no different than junior hockey, really. And I'm interested to hear your guys' take on, I think, you could attribute some of this and senior hockey being in vogue again, if you will, maybe to the success of a show like Shoresy. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think of that, Caleb.
No, I think, well, you're bearing witness to it right now. Like, I compare it to like junior C, like the level of hockey that junior C's playing at right now. And you look at the Hanover Barons, and that loop, like the Pollock loop, having that much success because you have a team like Hanover coming out of it year after year now. Brady Anderson and Brendan Clayton running the show down there, and they have a chance at the Schmaltz. And then it puts like Hanover on the map again, then puts that division on the map again. And I think COVID screwed a lot of things up. And it depends on the batch of kids that come through. But I look at teams like Seaforth in our league and Ripley, and kids are wanting to come play. And our team's getting calls all summer about like kids wanting to come play there. And I think when it just like, it makes it worthwhile. Like if you've played hockey at a high level, I know like Gibby could testify this. He was a bought-in defensive defenseman in the OHL for 5 years for Mississauga. Played on some great teams. Was always a defensive defenseman. And then he comes to this league, and if you look at the stats, he had the twine flu and was ripping it in the back of the net, and he turned into a goal scorer. And it was like, it's just awesome. It's like you kind of, it solidifies the sacrifice you made like early on in life to, you're chasing the dream of playing pro hockey or something like that. And then you kind of lost that dream and you kind of just didn't know what comes next. But then you come back to this, you realize it was kind of all worth it in the end. And it's something that can solidify that for you. And then being part of something greater where you win, you get to go to the Allan Cup. Like it makes all those sacrifices early in life worth it. And you kind of want to reiterate that to the young kids. I know a lot of the graduating junior B Cyclones want to come play here now. And it's like that's awesome. Like senior hockey didn't really have that like same pull, I guess, back in the day. It was kind of the Goonie. But now it's so skilled. Like everyone wants to come play, and things like this, like things like going to the Allan Cup are only going to help that and promote the league. And it's so awesome. It's fun to be a part of.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And I think that whole phenomenon with the leagues all becoming so much more skilled, younger and younger guys, like you said, stepping right out of junior or college hockey that want to play, it really does boil down to a love of the game. And I mean, you see that phenomenon, the Shoresy phenomenon, if you will, everywhere. Like I call Guelph Storm games all year, and you can easily look around and pick out Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs jerseys. They're all over the place. So like people are really buying into like the phenomenon of it and getting more invested. And you would hope that those people that are, riding the wave of popularity of that show are looking around going, well, is their senior hockey team around my area, and more than less likely in this province there is. And I think that that's lending to a lot of huge fan engagement, which is fantastic. Gibby, you know, like we said, you've played at a lot of really high levels of hockey, and then you come into this environment, and it's kind of like what Caleb said. It's about the love of the game and really a love of community and bringing people together for the love of hockey. And there's a lot of great guys on that team that you guys are part of. I mean, I think of guys like Blair Butchard and Warzy, who I grew up watching and watched his career, and you know, so many other great guys. Chase Herfert, who, I mean, Warzy, how many big goals did Herf score in overtime back in the day, right? Like, I think that a lot of people that aren't aware, they turn and look and see, oh my God, I remember watching that guy play, and that pulls you in as well, and that's got to be pretty special.
Yeah, no, I think I gained such an appreciation for the other leagues, right? So I was obviously aware of some of the junior B guys who made the jump to the OUA, or some who were up and down in major junior, but the margin of difference between top players in the other leagues versus players who had long careers in major junior is basically nothing. It's just about opportunity. And so there was a bunch of guys who I played minor hockey with, a guy like Clayton Holscher is a guy who comes to mind, where he was an absolute stud throughout the entire way. And he ended up just playing locally through junior. So I didn't get to really see him during that time, but that guy was probably our most go-to forward in the playoffs type of thing. So I think a greater appreciation for the players that have come out of those loops for sure. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I think just a greater appreciation for playing in small town communities and stuff like that. Like I never really realized the amount of crowds and support that all those small towns got. And so it's been just an awesome experience to be able to get that. So it's been a ton of fun.
Well, you guys are going to be on a very cool journey here. The Allan Cup, it's right around the corner, heading into Easter long weekend. Games are kicking off. Flamborough, obviously, the place to be. And if you're watching this and you want to get down there and support the Minto 81s, which if you're from the area, you should do. Flamborough's not that far. Get down there. Boys, I mean, we're recording this on Tuesday. I mean, games are right around the corner. I'm sure you guys, I know that there's the rule where you can add players too. Do you guys have like breaking news for me on who's going to be joining the Minto 81s?
We do have breaking news. I don't know if it's public knowledge yet, or well, it definitely is. We're adding Garrett Mears up front from the Ripley Wolves. Little AHL experience, probably the all-time leading scorer in the OEHL. WA, he came out and practiced with us. Great guy. We're super happy to have him. He's a game breaker, so that helps. And then we're also adding Adam Lagozo from Creemore, who's a defenseman. So just trying to solidify everywhere on our depth and so on and so forth. But I think it goes back to the fact that like this is such a big opportunity for our league. So we're going into it like you don't want to just be, we keep saying, you don't want to be complacent with the idea that we made it to the Allan Cup. You want to go there with full intention that you can win this thing. And we fully have belief in the group that we can win this thing. And obviously it's going to take a lot of hard work, but we fully believe that. And I think representing the OEHL is a big thing. I think that's why Garrett and Adam were pretty honored to do that. And we're super happy to have them.
Tremendous. That's fantastic news. And I think it makes it even more scary, the prospects for the teams you guys are going to be playing to go up against you guys. And knowing what I know about your career in particular, Caleb, I wouldn't bet against you guys. If it's available anywhere on a betting site, I'd love you to send me the lines, because I would love to lay money down on you guys. I think this is going to be so fantastic to watch what you guys do at the Allan Cup. Congratulations on making it there. But before I let you guys go, obviously, I know you guys are obviously hockey fans, big NHL fans, I'm sure. Now, Gibby, I'm more interested to hear your input here on the impending NHL playoffs, because I don't know who you support. So if you could reveal that to the world here and then give me a prediction. I know we don't know as of right now what the series are going to be. There's still some maneuvering that could happen. We're recording this on Tuesday the 15th. Give me your Stanley Cup Finals and who you think will win. But who do you support first?
All right. Well, I didn't plan on doing this, but this can be the reveal.
Okay.
I'm in the 6 right. I'm in Toronto right now, so it'd be a shame if I wasn't. But no, grew up loving the Leafs.
What's Nader Bashan gonna think about that call out?
Yeah, well, I was going to mention that too. I'm also 1A, 1B with the New Jersey Devils. Had a lot of good buddies roll through there, and two really good, but like one of my best friends from back home, Nate Bastian, and then
pretty good player,
really good buddies who I live with, Johnny Kovacevic, who's had a hell of a season as well. So really root for those guys as well. So in terms of that, it's Leafs or Devils out of the East. And then a team who I've just loved for the last few years now, just in terms of the way they're built. I think they're dangerous is the Dallas Stars. And so they had another big acquisition with Rantanen. And so, in saying that though, who really knows? But yeah, my selection would be Leafs Stars. The one thing I will say though is I'll actually be, both Caleb and I are planning on being in Europe for the week of the Stanley Cup final. So it would be pretty rattling if the Leafs get it done, that big Stanley Cup parade, and we're going to be on a beach in Portugal or something. So we might have to change our plans if that's the case.
They have cable there. You'll be fine. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I like the Stars as well out of the West. Warzy, I know this is painful for you, brother. I know you're a big Wings fan. They're not going to go again. So,
so I don't know if you saw that random stat the other day, though, that last time the Red Wings, the Rangers, and the Bruins missed the playoffs, the Leafs won the Cup, 1967. So I could get on board with that.
Well, I mean, they all had to get eliminated in that year because it was still a 6-team league when the Leafs did this. So this will be, I think, the first time that the 4 American original 6 teams since like 1923 or something like that, none of them will be having an opportunity to go to a Stanley Cup final because none of them made the playoffs, which is incredible. I'm sure Gary Bettman is just personally crushed by that. I really don't care because the Capitals are in there and the greatest goal scorer of all time is playing. So, but if you had to pick, what do you think is a likely Stanley Cup final here? What are you feeling?
I got to go Leafers, and I think the Avalanche are a dark horse. They're going to get Gabe Landeskog back, and it's going to be like a Cinderella story.
Man, how about that, eh?
And they got Dallas in the first round. That's going to be an absolute battle.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Be a bloodbath.
I do give it to Gary Bettman for sticking with this playoff format because the NHL playoffs, like, obviously so different than any other playoff, but like you do kind of have to beat every team. But like the amount of first round matchups that like are Stanley Cup contenders, it's crazy.
It's bonkers, man. Yeah, it's going to be an absolute insane show that everybody's looking forward to. We'll see if your Leaf predictions come true. I'm sure a lot of people would be happy to finally see them do something, boys. But more importantly, we here at the show and everybody across Midwestern Ontario are hoping that you boys bring home an Allan Cup to the area. It would be fantastic. I want VIP access to the after party. I expect that kind of treatment, Warzy, okay? And we will I'll make you a deal right now. You guys bring the Allan Cup home. We're doing a full-scale production show from the party. It's going to be fantastic, all right? I'll see you guys there.
You can count on that.
Absolutely. Caleb Warren, Stephen Gibson, obviously of the Minto 81s, our Minto 81s, representing the OEHL at the Allan Cup. Congratulations on a great season so far, boys, and best of luck at the Allan Cup. How about that?
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Clarkey and I will make official our playoff predictions. We'll see what we think with our bracket that we do annually. And usually Clarkey does pretty well. He likes to think of himself as a bracketologist. I'm going to break that this year here on Instigating. to wrap things up for the week here on Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. What a week in sports. Rory is a Masters and Grand Slam champion. The Minto 81s are going to the Allan Cup. The Hanover Barons are in the Schmalz Cup semifinals. Going to be great hockey and happening locally. But
the NHL playoffs.
NHL playoffs.
Here we
They're
go.
All set.
Here we go. Set. What we've all been waiting for.
Montreal's in. How about that? They managed to squeeze in there.
Exactly.
We're gonna do every series. Now we're not gonna have time to fit it all in on TV. So I know there are gonna be people who want to hear what we think about every series. So you're gonna have to jump over to our YouTube version to see the full breakdown of every series.
What's our YouTube channel? Instigating
with Clarkey and Drury. Just look that up on YouTube. Subscribe, please.
Subscribe, please. Yeah.
Subscribe.
Advertise, please.
Producer Adam, for everybody. Yes. Email Clarkey, clarkey66@gmail.com. We need sponsors. How about that?
Yep.
Producer Adam, right now, you insert our big board so that everybody can see it on TV. Here it is. Here's our picks. And Producer Adam's got it all together, just like last year on the big board. There's what our picks are for all our TV viewers. Now, again, you want to see the full breakdown of all of our series picks, which we're going to launch into in a second here. You'll have to catch the YouTube version. All right. There was a lot to squeeze in on this show. Rory with our buddy Doig.
But that's good.
The Minto 81s. It's a good thing. So you sneak over to the YouTube channel. You can see the full breakdown. But there's the big board with our picks. And we're going to launch into and explain them all starting right now. So if you're on TV and seeing this, you want to see our thoughts on the whole series, jump over and catch it on YouTube. How about that? All right.
I said it 4 times. They got it.
I just want to make sure. Now, speaking of 4 times, that's how many times you need to win games to win a series.
And series to win the cup.
And series to win the cup. Yes. It's not 1967 anymore.
Oh,
it's not 8 wins.
Thank you very much.
Not 8 wins.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. We're gonna save that for last.
Oh, of course we are. Okay.
Of course we gotta save it for last. So let's start in the Western Conference.
Let's do that. I have no idea where you're going with this, so I'm going to wing it.
So
some of it's just strictly like.
Let's start with the President's Trophy winning Winnipeg Jets.
Yes.
Producer Adam's wife, Jen's Winnipeg Jets against the red hot St. Louis Blues. Clarkey, what are your thoughts? Your game's winner and why?
I'm not going to pick against the Winnipeg Jets, Jen's Winnipeg Jets.
Okay.
I think they will win. However, Connor Hellebuck better have a good series. He better outduel Jordan Binnington. Hey, there's a matchup from the whatever it was called, Four Nations finale when Binnington beat him in the Four Nations Cup. But I just see Winnipeg as too strong. St. Louis has been on a heater, no doubt about it. But I say Winnipeg wins this one in 7.
Wow. I have Winnipeg winning in 6, and it's mostly because I just like their depth and their ability to create offense a little bit more than St. Louis. And the word on the street is Robert Thomas a little beat up too. Not the singer of Matchbox 20, the key forward of the St. Louis Blues. We love
that. Stumpy's son?
20,
no,
okay?
That's not Stumpy's son.
No, it's not Stumpy's son.
No, but Stumpy had a son that played.
Yes, he did. Christian Thomas. Christian Thomas. He was a Leaf. Now, I just Winnipeg, Perfetti, Velarde, Nemesnikov.
They should win.
Adam Lowry.
They should win.
And I like their decor a little bit better too. And it's Connor Hellebuck.
20 points more than St. Louis.
Yes. Let's move to Dallas, Colorado. This is a big one for producer Adam. It's a big one for producer Adam. Gabe Landeskog is back. Ooh. What do you think, Clarkey?
Well, it could be the series of the playoffs, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I do not like Colorado's goaltending. I've said it all along. I don't like it. I know they've played okay at times, but I don't like it. I'm picking the Stars, and it'll go 6 games, and Jen will have the bragging rights in the Olivero household.
I already apologized to producer Adam. I also like the Stars. I like them in 7.
Yeah.
And it's because of the way that they defend. Now, Colorado, I was just on another show for like 2 hours. I feel like I'm regurgitating thoughts, but they're fresh for our show.
Yeah, no one cares.
I was getting heat for this. I was getting heat for this from the other show. Colorado certainly has the edge in terms of the high ceiling of talent. I don't think there's an argument there. McKinnon, Makar. But the depth of the Stars, and that's with saying that Miro Heiskanen is going to miss the first round. But people are going to learn something about a young man if they already haven't. His name is Thomas Harley. I think that he is a stud, and I think that Dallas can survive without Heiskanen because of how well that kid's going to play. And I also, like you, Clarkey, you are the goalie expert, and we saw that last week more than ever.
We did.
Goaltending.
Yeah.
And Jake Ottinger, give me him over
100%.
Blackwood every single day of the week.
Absolutely.
And I love the big, snarly, nasty attitude of the Dallas Stars and the way that Jamie Benn plays and the way that Tyler Seguin plays and Wyatt Johnston.
Yep.
Go down the list.
Yep. I agree.
Like them in 7. Sorry,
there we go.
Producer Adam. Okay. Let's move Vegas Mini. I don't have a lot to say about this. Give me Vegas in 5. Actually, I said Vegas in 6. I think Mini can squeak a couple out, and there'll be overtime wins probably. But Vegas just too big, too mean, too much, and way too much depth when you compare them to Minnesota. I like some of their players over there. I like Matt Boldy. I like Joel Eriksson-Ek. Might be the most underrated player in the NHL. I like Brock Faber. Boy, did he have a coming out party at the Four Nations. I like their goaltending too, even with the old Warhorse Flower back there.
Yeah.
I don't like them like Vegas. I think Shea Theodore might be the best player in this series. God, are the Anaheim Ducks ever kicking themselves in the pills for letting that guy get away in that expansion draft? God, it makes me sick. And Jack Eichel and think about
how many games? How many games?
Dorofeyev? No one talks about him. He's got like 28 goals. 6 games. I'll give Minnesota a couple squeakers, but Vegas, too good.
I honestly think there's going to be a wild card team that wins. And you
think it's Minnesota?
I think it's going to be Minnesota because I hope to heck it's not one from the East.
Whoa.
I think a upset is in the making. So there we go. That's our first opposition. I'm taking the Wild in 6 at home.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
LA Edmonton.
I'll go first. Edmonton's done. They're toast. They're out. Edmonton's out in the first round. Too many injuries. Yes, they're going to get some guys back, but they have. I still don't like their goaltending. Not that I like Darcy Kemper either for the Kings, but
he's had a very good year.
He has. I know, but
he's on guys Vezina's.
I agree. I just think LA something. Remember this. Something special is happening with the Kings this year. Kings win it in 5.
I have Kings in 7 because Edmonton still just has those 2 killers, those psychopaths, McJesus and Draisaitl. But they're real banged up. They are banged up, and they're not going to have Ekholm, who's their best defenseman for this whole series. Right. Calvin Pickard, God bless the lad, has stepped in and given them some good performances. Stuart Skinner.
Michael Hutchinson did for the Leafs too.
Stuart Skinner,
not that good. Yeah.
In 11 of his last 15 games, has a sub 880 save percentage.
Yep.
He has won in the other 4 over 900. Mr. Skinner. I like LA in 7. It's going to be a war simply because McJesus and Draisaitl are good enough to keep it a war. But man, people are discounting how good that LA team is, man. Quentin Byfield, people that don't know already, they're going to learn some lessons about Quentin Byfield. Let me tell you what. Let's jump over to the Eastern Conference.
Okay, here we go. Well, we got to start with the first.
Let's start with top seed.
Yeah, Caps.
Washington is beating the Montreal Canadiens, and they're beating them in 5 games. I know what people are teasing me. Oh, it's going to be just like 2010. This is not the 2010 Washington Capitals. This is not the 2010 Montreal Canadiens. Montreal is kind of where Washington was last year when they surprised people and snuck in. Love their young talent. But they're going to upset them because Cole Hudson just set the rookie defenseman assists record, and Demidov. God love him. I love Nick Suzuki. Of course, I love Nick Suzuki. Good Guelph Storm boy, OHL champion. I like Montreal's future here, but the future in terms of playoff success is not now. This is not the 2010 Washington Capitals, ladies and gentlemen. Alexander Semin is not out there turning pucks over and taking high sticking penalties in the offensive zone. Mike Green, God love him, one of my favorite Capitals ever. He's not back there freewheeling like Bob Dylan in 1962, slapping pucks all over the place. This is Jacob Chychrun putting you through the wall. This is John Carlson hammering power play rockets. This is the greatest goal scorer this game has ever seen, shredding people through the end wall and ripping at top cheese in a building on the road that he dominates in. This is young guys that learned a humble playoff lesson last year in Alexi Protas, who's 6'6" and scored 30 goals. In Connor McMichael, who's one of the best two-way wingers that are under 25 in the game. This is Thomas H. Wilson incinerating people and scaring the crap out of Lane Hudson and all those guys. This is not the 2010 Washington Capitals. This is the 2025 Washington Capitals, and they're winning the series in 5.
I agree 100%. Washington will win in 5. When you look at a team that had like minus 20 goals for and against during the season, they have no right to be like winning this series. I'll give them a game. I'll give them a game, but that's it. One game. If Washington loses this is one of the biggest jokes of all time, and it's not going to happen. Washington's goaltending.
Well, it won't be as bad as 2010. It's not going to be as bad as 2010.
Okay, fine. But Montreal
all time's a stretch.
Montreal should not be in this. So anyway, Washington.
Well, they earned their right to be there. They earned their right to be there.
Washington 5. Let's move on.
Washington's the biggest team in the NHL playoffs, by the way. So they're going to play big, mean, nasty. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about a series. I might surprise some people here. A series that a lot of people are discarding and saying, "Oh,
Carolina, New Jersey,
or this is over in 5." Carolina, New Jersey. I'll let you go first.
I don't like either of these teams at all right now. I really don't.
Neither do I, but I like one better.
Well, I did not like the way Carolina lost to the Leafs. I did not like the way Carolina lost to Montreal on Thursday night or Wednesday night.
Didn't like the way that they lost Rantanen.
That too. And Freddie Anderson. I know firsthand what Freddie Anderson can do in the playoffs.
The opposite of Kruger.
However, let me say this. New Jersey has some ghosts in the closet too, with Sheldon Keefe trying to get out of the first round. New Jersey hasn't been playing well either. Like they haven't been. They both
get out
stumbled
of the first round.
Once, maybe twice, maybe once, maybe
once.
Short memory. Once. If you could pick a tie in a series, I would pick a tie, no winner. But since I have to pick a winner, I'm going to say Sheldon Keefe pulls it off and does it in 7 games.
I think the same thing.
Oh, it's not fun when we disagree or when we agree. But anyway.
Yeah. I like New Jersey, and here's why. How could you say that, Ryan? Jack Hughes isn't playing. Jack Hughes is one player. He's an incredible player. You ever heard of this guy named Nico Hischier? Healthy. You ever heard of this guy Jesper Bratt? Pretty good player.
And let's be honest, New Jersey was heavily favored to win that division at the beginning of the year.
Yes, they were.
No, they didn't do it, but.
You ever heard of a guy named Jacob Markstrom? You ever heard of a guy
better than Freddie Anderson
named Timo Meier? Big guys. The thing with Jersey is they got a bunch of big guys that fly down the wings and play really well defensively. Luke Hughes is healthy. The Kovacevic kid has been a revelation down there. Oh, and they also have this shutdown pair with this big mean bastard named Brendan Dillon, playing next to 2-time back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Brian Dumoulin. And a guy that Canes fans are familiar with, he's one of the best shot blockers in the league, named Brett Pesce. people are absolutely writing the Devils off without watching or knowing a thing about the game, in my opinion. Is Carolina a good team? Yes. I don't like Freddie Anderson. And I think that these guys, I think the Carolina Hurricanes are the most overrated team in this NHL playoffs. I think they're posers, and they're losing this series in 7 games. Thank you very much.
There we go.
Great minds think alike.
Florida.
Battle of Florida. Give me Tampa in 6, and I'll tell you why. Banged up Florida Panthers. I know that they plugged this hole with Seth Jones, and I like Seth Jones, and he's played well for them. But Seth Jones is not Brandon Montour. And I think as the season is dragged on, particularly after Ekblad's injury plus the PED suspension, which he will not be back from until Game 3 of this series, people really started noticing how big of a piece Brandon Montour was to this Florida Panthers team. I thought at times during that cup run last year, he was their best player. I really did.
Oh, for sure. I agree.
I like Barkov. I like Bennett.
Sure.
I like Brad Marchand. Matthew Tkachuk's banged up. I like this team. And we all are familiar with what they've done. This Tampa team is healthy. They're pissed off, and they brought back some warriors from the past that know how to win, and more importantly for them, know how to win in John Cooper's system. Yanni Gord's back. Ryan McDonough's back. They brought over Bjorkstrand, underrated sniper that can help their depth scoring. Anthony Cirelli is a killer. Nikita Kucherov is an all-time playoff assassin. Sometimes it looks like he's not even wetting his equipment, but he is. And he's going to go bar down on old Bob, who might be out of gas. Oh, and they've also got this cat that plays in net that might be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in terms of modern NHL playoff goaltenders of all time. I think there's only 2 guys in the NHL playoffs in history that I would put on a pantheon with Andrei Vasilevsky, and that's Kenneth Dryden and Patrick Waugh.
Wow.
Andrei Vasilevsky's that good. Tampa
has been. Yeah, I agree.
That.
I think the Florida run is over.
Yes.
Too banged up. Tampa's on a heater. I don't like teams going into the playoffs not playing well. I know it's a different animal when you get to the playoffs, but I don't like it. And they have not been playing well. No doubt, they have not been playing well going into the playoffs. I like both coaches. Paul Maurice, my buddy from Toronto, John Cooper. I picked Tampa Bay, and I'll say 5. Tampa and 5. There you go.
Okay.
Is that it?
There's one more.
Oh, no. More.
There's one more. I would like to give you the floor.
Oh, my goodness. I'm sweating because we've talked about this. We've talked about this. We've talked about how I feel about picking the Leafs and how I feel I'm jinxing myself and the team.
Don't be stupid. Don't.
I'm not being stupid.
There's
I'm
no
not
jinxing.
being stupid.
You're picking the Leafs in
jinx.
how many games?
There is jinxing. I'm semi worried about this Ottawa Senator team.
They beat
but the Leafs are better. The Leafs are better.
Season. Yes, they are
better.
They are.
The Leafs. They're going to see Allmark. Guess what? Last year in the playoffs, they chased Allmark. Swayman had to come in for Boston. The Leafs goaltending has been as best as it's been in a long time. The Leafs defense is bigger and better than it's been in a long time. The superstars have learned how to play two-way hockey, and they got to continue to do that. Mitch Marner, 100 points. Matthews, 400 goals. Quickest 400 goals of any active player. They have the superstars. They have them. I'm not saying he's going to break Ovechkin's record. Just settle down.
I know that. He's not.
It is too daunting a task when you look at what he has to do for the next 12 years.
He also did that in one more season than Ovi because he's missed that many games.
Yeah, there you go. So, having said all that, and I think something special is about to happen to this team. Not going to say what right now.
Hope so.
But the Leafs will win this, and they're not going to do the Leafy thing. It's not going to go 7 games. They're going to win this in 5. They're going to win it back home in Game 5. They're going to win the first 2. They're going to lose Game 3. They're going to win Game 4 and Game 5. Leafs in 5. Mark it down.
I have taken the Leafs in 6. There'll be a minor scare, but they will get this done in 6. Ottawa's team up front has guys that scare me a little bit.
Oh, sure.
And I know it was the regular season, and they scared Toronto. And they get
Which
up
they've
to
done
play
before
this
in the
Toronto
regular
team.
season. But
They love playing the Leafs.
well,
Brady's a little banged up. He's healthy. He's going to play.
sure, he'll play. And he'll be running around like a madman.
Tim Stützle, like Timmy Stu. I like Batherson. What a coming out party he's
Cousins
had.
has played well
Greg
since going over.
Pinto, Claude Giroux, the wily old gingerbread man
Yeah.
who's hungry for a cup.
What do you think when you hear people say the Senators are built like the Leafs of the 2002 season with Roberts and Tucker and Travis Green?
Similar. Yeah. Yep. Similar.
You know?
Now, here's what I'll say. I would give the Senators the edge in goal. That's a Vezina winner back there.
Not a chance.
Yeah. Allmark's a better goaltender. He's proven it over a longer period of time as a starter.
Doesn't matter.
Than the other two guys have. I know it doesn't matter.
Patrick
I'm
Waugh's
just
proved
telling
it
you
too,
that
but he's
that's
not a better goalie right now. Stolarz is the best goalie in the series.
Patrick was not playing. Patrick was not playing in the league, Clarkey.
I get that, but you said over the course of this career. You can't count that. You got to be what have you done for me lately?
Allmark's played really well lately and has a Vezina on his
Look at
shelf.
Stolarz going to the
My
playoffs.
point-
Three
my point
three
is-
shutouts in his last 8 games.
I'm glad you said going into the playoffs. Never started a playoff game in his life. I'm not saying that's a detriment. I'm picking your team to win.
I understand, but don't tell me the goaltending. Ottawa has an edge. I don't believe it.
They do. I think that Ottawa's blue line is more talented than Toronto's at both ends of the ice. I think Toronto's is bigger, meaner, nastier, which is what they
never
need.
said.
In most of the series they've played, you're
We've
right.
never said that. Never.
It doesn't matter, though, because the only thing that matters is not what Max Domi
I know what
does.
you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
David Kampf,
The top
or
four
Brandon
have to
Carlo,
score.
or Scott Lawton.
No, of course not.
34.
16,
Better
88,
have.
91.
Yep,
All
and
4
those
of them.
guys. Yep. 34 has never, ever, not once, ever taken over a series and been the best player in it. Not one
Yeah.
single
No argument, man. No argument.
time.
But let's get off that. Let's move on.
Well, I can't
move
because
forward.
they have to prove
okay,
that
well,
they
that's
can
what I'm saying.
do it.
Fine, just say it, but get off it. You know,
They're
spending a
so
lot of time on that.
talented. Well, this is what everyone's going to be spending time on.
We'll see.
What a talented group. Do they have the dog in them
No
to
question.
push Brady
question,
Tkachuk
man.
back and say,
Well,
no,
if they
you're
don't
not
for
going
Brady
to do
Tkachuk,
that.
they're never going to do anything ever.
To push
And like
Dylan Cousins back and say,
with-
no, you're not going to run into our goaltender.
yeah.
Do
With
they
all due
have the
respect-
dog in them to do it?
And with all due respect to our buddy Dart Guy, who's on the Mitch Marner is God bandwagon, I don't care. I don't care he got 100 points. I don't care one little bit because we've said all along the playoffs are the only thing that matters. That's it. And if he
Leafs
doesn't
in
perform in the
6.
playoffs, goodbye. Go away.
Leafs in
We'll
6.
use that 11 million on a couple of other players. Go.
Leafs in 6. I will say this. If those sneaky little bastards in Ottawa push this to 7,
Look out.
they're winning the series.
Well, your cousin or who is John Haggerty told me Leafs in 7. I'm like, John, if this goes
Leafs
7, I'm worried. We have our friend
in
Harry.
6.
God bless his soul.
Yes.
He's
Win it for
helping.
Harry.
Win it for Harry. Please win it for Harry. It's a sad time for me for sure. But
I know, yes.
win it for Harry, and Harry's up there, and he's influencing the hockey gods. I'm convinced.
I hope so, buddy.
It's going to be a good run.
Leafs in 6.
So there we go. Leafs in 5 for me. Now let's just can we just do a Stanley Cup preview? Not picking finals winners, or you don't want to do that today? Like, who's our Stanley Cup final matchup?
I picked Dallas.
I'm fine.
I picked Dallas. I picked Dallas to win the cup at the start of the year, and I feel good about it still.
Who are they playing?
I think they might play Tampa.
Oh my God! Out of nowhere, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Wow.
I think that it's not out of nowhere.
Well, no, but it is because just from everything I've been
about Tampa.
all year,
I think Tampa
wanting the Leafs and your team and everything else. Tampa.
I think Tampa will beat my Capitals in the conference final, and Dallas will beat Tampa. That's how I feel right now.
Leafs, Kings.
Why? Because they beat them once.
Leafs, Kings.
They have their number. They beat them once in the playoffs, and they have their number.
No, during this season, they've played well against Tampa. Probably
good. That's good. Yeah. I don't care what this team did.
I don't either.
The Leafs are the only team in the playoffs where I can't listen to anything about the regular season.
I agree with you, man. I agree.
It doesn't mean anything to me.
It's fine. Leafs have the number in the playoffs.
They have
last time they played them in the playoffs, they beat them.
Irrelevant.
They played them.
That's true.
There you go. True. And they have home ice this time. They'll have home ice.
Home ice. Thank God.
There you go.
All
Leafs,
right. That's
New Jersey Eastern Conference Final.
You got the Devils going all the way.
Yep, they're gonna beat your Caps too, and then Leafs will beat them. It's gonna set up perfectly. You're right. Leafs Sens first round. Leafs win. Leafs Tampa second round. Leafs beat their nemesis. Leafs Devils. Leafs beat Sheldon Keefe. Leafs Kings. No high sticking penalty. Nothing wrong. Leafs win the cup. Done.
Thank God.
It's a storybook ending.
All right, buddy.
And it all begins storybook ending Saturday for the NHL, Sunday for the Leafs, right? Sunday.
It'd be a storybook ending if they could just beat anybody. Anyway,
don't bring me down. Okay,
I'm not bringing you down.
You said that because you're just trying to bring me down.
No, I'm not. I've told you 100 times I want to see your team win one.
Yeah,
I'd love to see it.
Speak a little positively next time.
We'll see.
Go wrap it up. MM20.
That's it for us. Thank you for coming over and watching. We appreciate it. You can watch our show Friday nights at 8, Sunday nights at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV. That's channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. Remember, you can find the podcast version on all your favorite podcast apps. We debut on our YouTube channel Friday nights at 9. And you can follow us on social media at Instigating Pod and
HMP against who'd they play?
Jaden's
Mechanical. Saturday, April 19th, 5:30 p.m. Whiteman TV, channel 6. You can watch it there.
The replay, the full game.
Correct.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right. We will be back next week with playoff games to talk about here on Instigating.
Go Leafs, go. Please do it.